So let me introduce our first two speakers, and I apologize in advance if I get the pronunciation of your name wrong. Regsuren Baterdene, who's the Executive Director of the American University of Mongolia, who's going to present the Mongolia case study. Okwech Abagi, who's Director of Owen and Associates in Kenya, who contributed to the Kenya case study. And someone whose name I'll definitely get right, because I've known him for an awful long time, Nick Burnett, who previously Director of the Education for All Global Monitoring Report, and now Managing Director of Results for Development. So I think the running order is we're going to do Mongolia first, and then move on to Kenya, and then Nick will give us his comments. So please, over to you. 10 minutes.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Baterdene. I'm from Mongolia. I have to update information about myself a little bit, because my position with relation to American University in Mongolia has changed since this brochure. Now my role is just a member of the board of the university and not in the executive office anymore. So my presentation is based on the report, which is actually distributed to you, and I will try to highlight some of the essential points I think are very much important, might be informative and interesting to you. So my presentation composed of 4 parts. First, I think I will need to provide some kind of basic information about Mongolia. And then we will move to the post-primary education developments in Mongolia since 1990, when the country embarked in large-scale transition from common economy, socialism, to a market economy and democracy.
Oh yeah, let me.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you want to just if we just put that right there?
Is it on?
It's on now. Yeah.
Okay.
We just put it a bit closer.
I'm sorry. Okay, so the slides. Oh. Where to find?
So you just press this one
Okay.
on the slide.
Okay, this is the first about Mongolia. So I think it's better to understand what the country is like and what's the peculiarities of the country in order to understand what has happened in this country last about 20 years. So Mongolia is a landlocked kind of nation in Central Asia, sandwiched between Russia and China. So territory-wise, it's quite large, 19th in the world ranking, 1.6 million square kilometers. But population-wise, it's a very tiny little country, less than 10 million people. We have lowest density in the world, I think, less than 2 people per square kilometer. So it also impact on delivery of educational services. In very much distant rural villages, we have to deliver the education which should be comparably equitable to the education gained by the kids in urban settings. So climate is also another kind of factor we have to consider. It's we call it continental kind of climate. We have 4 seasons. Temperature actually ranges in summertime plus 30, and the winter times minus 30. So it also increases the costs associated with livelihood and keeping our schools functional, heating in winter time, and also some sort of air conditioning in summer times. So political system is a parliamentary republic. In every 4 years, we have political elections and government changes. It also impacts on the policy and conceptualization of education, because we still have very strong party which has the tradition to be the Communist Party in the past. They're trying to continue somewhat very much extreme leftist kind of position towards the education to centralize. But on the other hand, other political parties trying to make it more liberal. So decentralization, every 4 years, this kind of change happens. Major economic sectors, mining and agriculture, I would say livestock, herding, and GDP is growing. Since country itself is not very big, some large investments makes a really huge difference in the country. So post-primary education. So you can see these graphs from the report, which actually says itself. Mongolia recorded most rapid fall in school life expectancy after the transition, immediately after the transition in the early 1990s. It happened because we lost huge kind of subsidies from the Soviet Union. We'd never been a part of Soviet Union, but it was under very strong control or influence of the Soviet Union. About 1/3 of the government budget comes from support from the Soviet Union, former Soviet Union. So we just lost this kind of support overnight in 1990, and it impacted on educational services hugely. And also there was large-scale liberalization policy. We tried to give more freedom to the parents and families to choose the mode of learning for their kids. And also we have experienced large-scale privatization of formerly state-owned assets, including livestock. So in countryside, many these herding families got a herd, and they needed some kind of extra workforce to live on. So that's where in early 1990s, mainly boys dropped out from the school, which is actually impacted on this graph. There was kind of drop in the school life expectancy. So next slide shows the recovery after the 1990. Only 2 minutes. Okay. So probably I will skip these slides because you have on your hands these reports. So these ones shows the progress which was made since 1990. Because of this frequent political changes, we are experiencing a very frequent change in education policy as well. Just after year 2000, we have transformed our secondary schooling 2 times, starting from 10 years school into 11 years in 2004, then just after 4 years to 12 years schooling in 2008. So what has made this success or improvement possible in last few years in Mongolia? There was traditionally very high value on education in the population. Because of the lifestyle, people very much value the knowledge and education. So they're very much willing to give their children to be educated in whatever cost. Even the last penny they will spend to send their kids to the school. And also the politicians give high kind of priority in their political campaigns to support education, because this kind of agenda actually creates more support from the voters. And one thing need to be emphasized, that not only school-related expenses, but non-education-related kind of costs are also borne by the government in order to improve the access. Not only instruction-related costs. For example, in order to bring in kids from nomadic families, we support dormitories for kids, very young kids, fully subsidized by the nation. And also we provide stipend to tertiary education students. And also lately we providing some kind of subsidies to kids in primary schools to get free textbooks and uniforms to attend the schools. And at the tertiary level, students get subsidies for the transportation. So in sum, probably this non-instruction related kind of costs might be equalized to the instruction related costs. But still, there is need to do more analysis on that. Okay. So my time is up, and probably I will try to answer the questions.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you. I actually feel I'm being terribly brutal in the chair, and what I would say is that it's an incredibly rich paper on Mongolia, and I mean you skipped a lot of the data, but it's an incredibly compelling story, both in terms of the rate of progress, but I think also in terms of the way you identify some of the sort of the real levers of change, both in attitudes and in these distinctive approaches to financing. So thank you for that, and I'd really encourage people to read the paper as well.